More than 16 million, nearly 17 million Americans have lost their jobs filing for unemployment in just the last 3 weeks. That is 1 out of every 10 Americans, roughly. 1 out of every 10 Americans has filed for unemployment. Joining me now, Labor Secretary Eugene Scalia. Mr. Secretary, good to see you. How high do you expect these numbers to go? Because, again, these are people who have filed. Much difficulty actually filing for unemployment benefits in many states.
Well, we've never seen unemployment filings this high, as you know, Dagan. And a couple things to bear in mind. One is that these numbers reflect a different economic environment than typical. This is the result of purposeful and short-term decisions being made to pause business activity. So they're different in that way. It's also a different circumstance in that the economy was just so strong, as you and I have discussed before, just weeks ago. So we come into this situation from a very different position and for different reasons. Where it leads now is not entirely clear because it's a different circumstance. I think we'll continue to see filings, but at some point we do expect them to slow down.
Do you have an estimate at all for how high the unemployment rate could go? Because just based on a back-of-the-envelope calculation, there are 164 million Americans who are in the workforce. You get 30 to 50 million people who lose their jobs. So far, we're at about 17 million who just filed for unemployment. That would take us to a 20 to 30% unemployment rate.
I couldn't give you a precise estimate. I wouldn't want to guess in that way with you, Dagan. I think 30% overstates it, but I do think it's important that we recognize also all that the president and Congress have done to provide for people who are experiencing this unemployment right now.
Let's talk about that, and it's important to acknowledge, which I try to do every time we talk about numbers. These aren't numbers, these are people. These are individuals whose paychecks disappeared overnight, many who lost their livelihoods, and they don't know if they'll get them back when it comes to business owners. So those are people, and they're hurting. And that's why there's so many people who are upset, who've been laid off, furloughed, trying to get unemployment benefits. These state websites have been buckling, phone lines are jammed, backlogs mounting. What can you do? These are state systems. We understand that. But what can you do as the head of the Labor Department to help fix these problems with the unemployment systems?
Well, Dagan, as you say, these are every one of these numbers reflects a person, a family, and people that are making a sacrifice for the country, which is one of the reasons it was important to the president to make expanded unemployment benefits available, to increase what the states already provide. There's a $600 a week plus up, as you know, and then unemployment benefits under the CARES Act, which the president signed, are also available to gig workers, independent contractors, which they ordinarily are not. We at the Labor Department are working, to say daily understates it, constantly with our partners in the states to help them get these benefits out. I am pleased that I think now 7 states are making that additional unemployment compensation benefit available. And we've dispersed $500 million to the states to help them with staffing, to help them with their computer systems during this surge in claims. We have another $500 million that we are ready to disperse when they're ready to receive them. So we will continue to work with them every day, and really day and night, to help get these payments to American workers and families.
That additional $600 extra per week, it takes benefits here in New York State up to $1,100 a week. You said that only 7 states have added that additional compensation. Why not more? I know the money went out not this week, but last week. When will it be 50 states?
Well, different states' computer systems require really different changes to incorporate this additional sum. State systems sometimes are 30 or 40 years old, unfortunately, and they're not as quickly adaptable as one would want. So that's what they're working on. We are helping them. We're even looking for ways to give them technical assistance. I think we will just see more states come online over time. But let me emphasize this, too. People who haven't gotten the benefit yet will get caught up by states when the
Okay.
states do get online. And in the meantime, as you know, we have payments coming from the IRS to individual Americans too,
Right.
which will be welcome.
In terms of the Paycheck Protection Program, it's been the big banks have been ineffective in getting the money out. The community banks have. But that was designed to save jobs, because 75%, if these loans want to be forgiven, if turned into grants, 75% of that money has to be spent on maintaining payroll. But restaurant owners and other businesses that have high rents need something different. Do you think there needs to be something different, or changes to the Paycheck Protection Program as it stands now?
Well, let me emphasize first how valuable at this time I think that Paycheck Protection Program is. As you said, a key concept behind the program is not only helping keep small businesses afloat during this difficult time, but also keeping their employees on payroll, keeping them attached to the company so that when the business is ready, the workers are there, they have jobs, and we can get the economy going again. I think the concept there is very important from an employment, from a Labor Department perspective, and we very much want it to succeed. I have heard the concern that you voiced. We've seen the Small Business Administration and the Treasury Department be flexible in administering this program, and there are obviously other sources of liquidity available to small businesses. But this concept of keeping workers on payroll, to me, is just critical to getting our economy back quickly once we beat the virus, and I hope that program will get the support it needs.
Before we go, Mr. Secretary, getting people back to work, give me one or two things that need to happen that you need to see in terms of fighting the virus to allow at least some businesses to help to have some employees come back to work. We're just looking for some benchmarks, so there's something to look forward to.
Well, let me be clear that our job at the Labor Department is helping people get to work. We want to help people be employed. We want to get them there, and of course we want them safe and healthy in the workplace too. So we are eager to get people back to work, to get the economy going. But we know that the first thing we have to do is to contain the virus. The more disciplined we are right now, the more carefully we follow the guidance of the public health authorities, the more quickly we'll get to where we want to go. And I think beyond that, we do need the medical infrastructure to be comfortable having people back in the workplace and interacting with one another more. And we've learned some of the precautions that are appropriate in public places, which at times will include the workplace too. But it is, I think, important from the perspective of the economy and ultimately from national security too, to be planning for that day and looking for that day when we can get things reopened, restarted.
Secretary of Labor Eugene Scalia. Gene, good to see you. Thank you for being
Good
here
talking to
this
you, Dagan.
morning.
Thank
Have
you.
a terrific weekend.